While I was lying in a hospital bed, broken and fighting to recover, my wife was out with another man. Everyone told me to focus on healing, but I was already planning something else, something she would never see coming. And when the truth came out, she lost everything, while I walked away stronger than ever. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you thought would stay by your side no matter what, hit that like button and subscribe, because this story is one of the most shocking betrayals and one of the most satisfying paybacks you'll ever hear. I never thought one night could change my life forever, but accidents don't wait for you to be ready. It was a rainy Thursday evening, and I was driving home late from work. I remember the sound of screeching tires, the blinding headlights, and then nothing. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed. My leg was in a cast, tubes ran from my arms, and pain radiated through my entire body. The doctor told me I'd been lucky to survive. I'd need surgery, weeks of recovery, and months of physical therapy. But you know what hurt more than the broken bones? The fact that my wife, Amanda, wasn't there when I opened my eyes. I told myself maybe she was caught in traffic. Maybe she was handling paperwork. Maybe she just couldn't stand the sight of me in that condition. I made excuses for her, because that's what you do when you love someone. You forgive the absences. You tell yourself they'll show up eventually. Except she didn't. The first night, my mom sat by my bed. She held my hand, brushed my hair back, told me I'd be okay. I asked her softly, "Where's Amanda?" She hesitated, her lips tightening, then said, "She'll come tomorrow." "Rest, honey." Tomorrow came. No Amanda. By the third day, I couldn't take it anymore. I asked my mom again. This time, she looked away. "Don't worry about her. Just focus on healing." That's when the pit in my stomach grew. Something was wrong. Finally, on the fourth day, Amanda appeared. She swept into the room wearing makeup, heels, and a dress that didn't scream hospital visit. She smelled like expensive perfume. Her smile was forced. "Hey, babe," she said, kissing my cheek. You look better than I expected." I wanted to cry with relief just seeing her there. I told her how scared I'd been, how much I needed her. She nodded, but her eyes were everywhere but on me. "I can't stay long," she said after 10 minutes. "I've got errands." Errands, while her husband lay broken in a hospital bed. She left, and I stared at the door long after it closed. Something inside me knew. She wasn't busy. She wasn't overwhelmed. She was with someone else. I didn't have proof, yet. But the heart doesn't lie when it's being crushed. The nurses noticed, too. One leaned in one evening, whispering, "Sweetheart, I don't mean to pry, but your wife doesn't visit much. Most spouses practically move in here." I forced a smile, but inside, rage burned. So, while my bones healed, I started thinking, planning. Because if Amanda thought I was too broken to notice her betrayal, she was dead wrong. Amanda's visits grew shorter and less frequent as the days went by. At first, I convinced myself she was stressed. After all, the accident had thrown our lives upside down. Bills, insurance, hospital paperwork, it was a lot for one person to handle. But then, little details began to gnaw at me. Her hair was always perfectly styled when she came, like she'd just walked out of a salon. Her clothes were fancier than usual, tight dresses, designer heels, and the perfume. God, that perfume. It wasn't the light floral scent she usually wore. It was stronger, heavier, the kind you'd wear on a date. One night, around midnight, I woke up thirsty. My phone buzzed on the table beside me. I squinted at the screen. A message from Amanda. "Can't make it tomorrow. Don't wait up. Love you." Don't wait up. Who tells their husband in the hospital not to wait up? I lay there staring at the glow of the phone, my chest tight, my hands clenching the sheets. The next morning, my mom arrived early. She had that look again, the one that said she was holding something back. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. "Mom," I said, my voice low, "tell me the truth. Where is she? What is she doing?" Her lips pressed into a thin line. For a long time, she said nothing. Then she sighed and whispered, "Honey, Amanda hasn't been here much because she's been seen with someone else." The words sliced through me sharper than any surgery knife. "What do you mean?" My throat was dry. Mom hesitated. "Your friend Mark saw her. She was at a restaurant, laughing, holding hands with another man." I wanted to deny it, to scream that it wasn't possible. But deep down, I knew. I had felt it in my bones. Still, I needed more than rumors. I needed proof. So, I called my cousin Eric. He worked in security and had a knack for digging into things. "Eric," I said, my voice cracking, "I need you to follow Amanda. See where she goes. I can't be blind anymore." He didn't ask questions, just said, "Consider it done." The next evening, Eric called. His voice was tight, hesitant. "You were right. She's not where she says she is." My stomach turned. "Where is she?" "She's at a hotel downtown, room 407, with a guy. I saw them check in together." My world shattered. I sat there in the hospital bed, my cast itching, my ribs aching, but the real pain was in my chest. I thought about our wedding day, the vows we exchanged, the promises she whispered to me in the dark, in sickness and in health. And here I was, broken and alone, while she was with someone else. Tears stung my eyes, but behind the heartbreak, something else rose. Anger. Cold, steady anger. Amanda thought I was powerless. She thought my broken body meant a broken spirit. She couldn't have been more wrong. Because in that moment, I made myself a promise. I would heal, I would get stronger, and I would make sure she paid for what she'd done. And not just paid. She would regret it so deeply that every time she looked in the mirror, she'd remember the man she betrayed in his darkest hour. Lying in that hospital bed, staring at the ceiling through sleepless nights, I kept replaying it in my head. Amanda's smile when she walked into the room, the excuses, the perfume, the lies. The betrayal cut so deep that it almost took my breath away. But beneath the pain, something else started to form. Clarity. I realized I couldn't confront her yet. If I accused her now, she'd just deny it. Maybe twist the story until I looked paranoid or insecure. That's who Amanda was. Always good with words, always quick with excuses. No, I needed evidence. Solid, undeniable proof. So, I called Eric again. "Cousin," I said, my voice firm, "I need you to keep following her. Photos, videos. I don't care how long it takes. I need everything." He didn't hesitate. "You'll get it." Days turned into weeks. My body healed slowly. Surgery scars, endless physical therapy, bruises fading into pale reminders. But while my body healed, Eric was out there gathering the truth. Every few days, he'd send me something new. A blurry photo of Amanda walking hand in hand with that man outside a cafe. A short video of them checking into the same hotel room. Receipts showing her spending hundreds at expensive restaurants. Charges I never approved. Each piece of evidence felt like another dagger in my chest. But I saved them all. I stored everything in a hidden folder on my phone, quietly building my case. Amanda, meanwhile, kept up her charade. She'd show up at the hospital once in a while, staying for just 10 or 15 minutes. She'd ask shallow questions. "Are you eating okay?" Did the doctor say when you'll walk again? Before checking her phone and saying she had to run, I wanted to laugh in her face. She thought she was clever. She thought I was too broken to notice. But every fake smile, every quick exit, only fueled my resolve. By the time I was discharged, I had enough evidence to blow her world apart. But I didn't. Not yet. Because timing was everything. If I confronted her in private, she'd cry, apologize, maybe manipulate me into forgiving her. If I exposed her too early, she'd find a way to spin the narrative. I needed her to be cornered, trapped, with nowhere to run. So, I played along. When she picked me up from the hospital, I smiled weakly. "Thanks for being here," I said softly. She gave me a quick kiss on the cheek. "Of course, babe. You know I've been so worried." Lies. All lies. But I let her think I believed it. At home, I pretended to settle back into routine. I let her cook dinner a few times, sat on the couch with her to watch TV, even kissed her goodnight. All the while, my phone buzzed silently with new updates from Eric. Another dinner. Another hotel. Another betrayal. And then, the cherry on top. Eric sent me a photo one night. Amanda and the man at a jewelry store. He was slipping a necklace around her neck, and she was grinning like a teenager in love. That was it. The final nail in the coffin. I stared at the photo for a long time, my anger cooling into something sharper, colder. This wasn't just an affair. This was a double life. And if she thought she could juggle both forever, she was about to learn how wrong she was. Because I wasn't just going to leave her. I was going to make sure she lost everything. Her comfort, her reputation, and the man she thought would replace me. She had taken advantage of me when I was at my weakest. But now, every day I got stronger. Every step I took, every scar that healed, brought me closer to the moment when I'd finally expose her. And when that moment came, Amanda wouldn't just regret betraying me. She'd regret underestimating me. When I got home from the hospital, Amanda slipped back into her role as a supportive wife. She cooked, smiled, kissed my forehead like nothing was wrong. If someone had walked in, they would have seen the perfect couple. But I knew better. And now, I had enough proof to burn her entire world to the ground. The question was, how? If I confronted her alone, she'd cry, twist the story, beg for forgiveness. If I told her family, they'd demand I give her a second chance. Amanda had always been good at playing the victim. No, I needed to time this right. I needed to do it in a way where she couldn't talk her way out of it. So I waited. A week later, Amanda came home one evening, all smiles. Guess what? My parents are hosting a family dinner next Saturday. They want us both there. A big reunion kind of thing. Perfect. I forced a grin. That sounds great. It'll be nice to see everyone again. Inside, my mind was already racing. This was the stage. This was where I'd expose her. For the next few days, I gathered everything. Every photo, every video, every receipt Eric had sent me. I organized them into a neat folder on my laptop, ready to show with just a few clicks. But I didn't stop there. I had Eric dig into the man she was seeing. His name was Daniel, mid-30s, worked in finance, divorced 2 years ago. And, most importantly, he had no idea Amanda was married. Eric managed to get Daniel's contact information. One phone call later, the truth was out. "Wait," Daniel said, his voice sharp. "She told me she was single." I almost laughed. "She's not. She's my wife." Silence. Then a heavy sigh. "Man, I had no idea. I swear, if I'd known—" I cut him off. "I don't care what you do now. But if you want proof, come to the family dinner next Saturday. I'll send you the address." He agreed. Amanda had no clue. She spent the whole week fluttering around, excited about the dinner, picking out a new dress, nagging me to shave and look presentable. She thought she was in control, but I was the one pulling the strings. Saturday arrived. Amanda drove us to her parents' house, humming along to the radio, her hand brushing mine on the console like everything was normal. Inside, the house was warm and filled with chatter. Her parents hugged us. Her siblings laughed. Her cousins filled the dining room. Amanda was glowing, basking in the attention, playing the perfect wife. Halfway through dinner, I cleared my throat. "I actually have something I'd like to share," I said, standing slowly. All eyes turned to me. Amanda smiled proudly, expecting a toast about how grateful I was for her. Instead, I opened my laptop. With one click, the TV screen in the living room lit up, displaying the first photo. Amanda holding hands with Daniel outside the cafe. The room fell silent. The next photo. Amanda and Daniel entering a hotel. Then another. Daniel placing the necklace around her neck. Gasps echoed around the room. Amanda's face went pale. "What? What is this?" she stammered. I ignored her, clicking to the final slide. A video of Amanda kissing Daniel in the parking lot. Her mother clapped a hand over her mouth. Her father's face turned red with rage. Her siblings whispered furiously. And then, right on cue, the front door opened. Daniel stepped inside. Amanda's jaw dropped. "Daniel!" He looked straight at her, his expression cold. "You didn't tell me you were married." The room exploded. Her father demanded answers. Her mother burst into tears. Her siblings glared daggers at her. Amanda stood frozen, eyes darting between me, the screen, and Daniel. I can explain," she stuttered, her voice breaking. But there was no explanation left. No excuses strong enough to erase what everyone had just seen. I stayed calm, my voice steady. "While I was fighting for my life in the hospital, you were out building a new one behind my back. Tonight, everyone gets to see the truth." Amanda's face crumpled. She reached for me. "Please, wait. We can talk about this." I stepped back. "We're done." The room buzzed with whispers. Amanda's own family turned away from her. Daniel walked out without another word. And me? I finally felt free. But this was only the beginning of her downfall, because humiliation in front of her family was just step one. After the dinner disaster, Amanda tried to call me nonstop. My phone lit up with her name 20, 30 times a day. I ignored every single one. She texted too. "Please, I can explain." It wasn't serious. I just needed attention. "You can't throw away our marriage over one mistake." One mistake. I almost laughed when I read that. Sneaking off to hotels, holding hands at restaurants, lying for weeks. That wasn't one mistake. It was a double life. I moved into my mom's house while I got back on my feet physically. Amanda showed up once, pounding on the door, crying loudly enough for the neighbors to hear. My mom told her to leave before she called the cops. Amanda's mascara was streaked, her hair messy, nothing like the polished woman she'd tried to be. But I wasn't falling for the performance. Not anymore. I filed for divorce 2 days later. My lawyer assured me that with the mountain of evidence I had, things would go in my favor. And he was right. Amanda begged. She tried guilt. She tried threats. "If you leave me, you'll regret it," she hissed in one voicemail. "No, Amanda, you're the one who'll regret it." Because I wasn't done yet. Remember Daniel? He hadn't just walked out of that dinner in disgust. He had called me the next day. "Man, I am so sorry," he said. "She told me she was single. She played me too." I could hear the anger in his voice. He'd been embarrassed in front of her husband, her family, her whole circle. He wanted nothing to do with her. And just like that, Amanda lost him too. The fallout spread quickly. Her parents, humiliated by what happened at dinner, practically disowned her. Her father told her not to come back until she cleaned up her mess. Her siblings mocked her in the family group chat until she left it. But the worst hit came socially. Amanda thrived on attention, brunches with her girlfriends, Instagram posts of her perfect life, gossiping about others while pretending to be flawless. But after the truth came out, people turned on her. Her friends stopped inviting her places. A few unfollowed her publicly, leaving comments like, "Wow, betraying your husband while he was in the hospital?" Low. Her Instagram went quiet. The likes disappeared. The comments turned brutal. She deleted half her posts, trying to erase the evidence of the life she pretended to have. The woman who once preened in the spotlight was suddenly invisible. Meanwhile, my life began to heal, not just physically, but emotionally. Physical therapy was grueling, but every step I took was fueled by anger, by determination. The cast came off. The crutches were replaced with a cane. Then finally, I walked on my own. Each milestone felt like a victory not just over my accident, but over Amanda. The divorce finalized quickly. The house, the car, most of the savings, they were awarded to me. Amanda walked away with almost nothing. She tried to fight it, but with the photos, videos, and witness testimony, she didn't stand a chance. The last time I saw her was in court. She looked hollow. Her once perfect hair was flat, her makeup half done, her hands trembling as she clutched her lawyer's arm. When the judge read the final decree, her eyes filled with tears. I didn't feel pity. I felt closure. She had betrayed me at my weakest moment, when I needed her most. She had chosen her selfish desires over the vows she made. And now, she was the weak one. Alone. Disgraced. I walked out of that courtroom taller than I had in months. Stronger. Free. But karma wasn't finished with her yet. Because Amanda's biggest punishment wasn't the divorce, or losing me, or even losing Daniel. It was the fact that she couldn't escape what she'd done. Every time she looked at her reflection, every time she passed a restaurant we'd once eaten at, every time she saw a happy couple, she'd remember the man she abandoned in a hospital bed. And she'd remember the night her perfect facade crumbled in front of everyone she loved. That was the real revenge. The months after the divorce felt like breathing fresh air after being trapped underwater. For the first time in years, I wasn't walking on eggshells, waiting for Amanda's mood swings or her endless demands. I was just free. My physical therapy became easier. My body regained strength. And with every step forward, I realized that the weight on my shoulders had never just been my broken bones. It had been her lies, her betrayal, her poison. One afternoon, as I was finishing a session at the rehab center, Eric stopped by. He grinned when he saw me walking across the room without a cane. "Look at you," he said, "stronger than ever." I laughed, a real laugh, the kind I hadn't let out in months. "Feels good to finally move forward." Eric's face grew serious. "You know, man, what Amanda did? Most people would have crumbled. But you turned it into fuel." He was right. The betrayal had nearly broken me, but instead of destroying me, it pushed me harder. It made me sharper, stronger. I'd rebuilt not just my body, but my life. Amanda, on the other hand, was a ghost of who she used to be. I heard things through the grapevine. Her parents refused to speak to her. Her siblings mocked her whenever she tried to reach out. And Daniel had blocked her completely. She'd lost her job, too. Apparently, she'd been too distracted with her affair to keep up with her work. And when her reputation tanked, the company quietly pushed her out. She tried to contact me once more. An email, long and rambling, full of apologies and excuses. I was lonely. I was scared. I didn't know how to handle seeing you so weak. I made mistakes, but we can start over. I didn't even respond. Because the truth was, Amanda hadn't just betrayed me. She'd betrayed the very idea of loyalty, of love, of marriage. She had walked away when I needed her the most, and that was something I could never forgive. And the best part? She knew it. She knew she'd lost the one person who would have stood by her through anything. That was her punishment, not the divorce papers, not losing the house or the car, not even the humiliation of being exposed in front of her entire family. Her real punishment was living with the knowledge that she threw away a man who would have moved mountains for her, just for a few cheap nights in a hotel room. As for me, I moved on. Slowly, carefully, but with purpose. I focused on my health, on rebuilding my career, on reconnecting with the friends and family who had supported me through the storm. And one day, I woke up and realized I wasn't angry anymore. Because revenge isn't just about making the other person pay. It's about reclaiming yourself, your dignity, your peace. Amanda had taken so much from me, but in the end, I took it all back. So, if you've ever been betrayed, if you've ever felt powerless, let my story remind you. The best revenge isn't screaming, or fighting, or even exposing them. The best revenge is living so well that they can never touch you again. Amanda will always carry the weight of her choices. Me? I walk free, stronger than ever, scars and all. And honestly, that's the sweetest justice of all. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? Don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable stories like this one. Because trust me, the next tale might just be even crazier.